This is a follow-up video on using the Z28 spring on the Cadillac head. What I'm going to be using on this particular head is a 600 lift Z28 spring. Normally they say installed pressure, I think around 115 at 1,800. I'm actually at 1,850 here, so I'll be at like 105 installed pressure, but this is the spring I'm going to be using, and it's actually meant for a Chevy. Now, I've pulled all of the spring dampeners out of the springs. You do not want the damper in there, like I said in the previous video. But I wanted to show you guys something here. On a stock, this is a stock retainer and a stock seal. On a stock setup, you have a 1,950 installed height. But if you look at this, when this is all the way down, this is only at 1,550. Now that's all the way open with the seal against the guide. That is only 400 thousandths worth of lift. That is all it has room for. You cannot put in a bigger cam without doing something about the seal. That's part of the reason I'm doing this, is I'm going to an umbrella seal and a flat retainer. This one is Renegade. I think they're also sold under the Speedmaster name. It's a flat retainer, but it also has a very short height here, and that's part of what I'm looking for. The installed height is 1,850 basically, maybe a smidge more. And that's okay, because I'm still going to be, factory spring was only 60 pounds. I'm still going to be at like 100 in a closed position and like 250 open, as compared to the factory 155 open. But the thing I want you to realize is that 850, when this is all the way open, I'm at about 1,300. Maybe 1,280. So I have almost enough room for 600 lift with this seal combo and this retainer. And that is going to be without me having to modify the head at all. So this could literally be swapped out on the motor, on the car. That's going to be a little bit of work, but without you having to machine the head at all, and you'll gain enough room that you can put in a bigger cam and not have to worry about it. Plus, you'll have a stiffer spring, so it'll deal better with the cam, and you're just better off all the way around if you're trying to build a performance motor without taking it apart. Now, in this case, I've pulled this head for the previous video to show you about cooling. So it's going to be easy for me to swap these. The other head I'm leaving on. So the other head, I'll show you how you can swap the spring actually on the motor and replace it with one that'll give you more room without having to do any machine work. And I realize that this umbrella seal is not going to stay down quite as much like the factory one. And you might see a little more oil, maybe. The factory one's main purpose is to ensure that you don't get any oil down that guide. And it does a good job of that. But I need the extra room, and in some ways I kind of want extra oil in the guide so we don't wear it out. So I'm happy with that change. If you really wanted to, and you had the heads off, you could replace this with a positive seal that fits over the guide. You'd have to machine the guide down, and then you could fit a positive seal that will stay put down there and give you a little more oil control, and still run this retainer and spring so that you have the extra room without doing a lot. But if you're actually machining the guide, you can also machine the guide down a little bit, even with the factory one, and give yourself a little bit more room. But you have to do something. And if you're on the car and you don't want to take it apart, this particular solution is actually a pretty decent solution. It will give you the room you need without any machine work at all. And part of it is because of this particular retainer that puts you at a decent height to run that Z28 spring because it's flat. It's down 100 thousandths. This is 950. This is 850. So it actually moves you down a little bit, and that lets you run that spring at a decent pressure. If you just put it in at the 1950, you're not going to have any more pressure than you did with the stock factory Cadillac spring at like 60 pounds. So you really want to up that a little bit. And like I said, this gives you enough room. That spring is designed for 600 lift. This gives us 600 lift worth of room and installs it at a decent pressure. So this works out really well, especially if it's just going on the car without any other work. But I really wanted to show you just how much different the clearance is from factory to this aftermarket setup, and part of why you need to make it happen. So anyway, like I said, this is a second part to using the Z28 spring, and some of the numbers are in the other part. So there we go. If we got any questions, post them in the comments. I will do a third part. So anyway, this is Z28 and the Cadillac head. Talk to you later.